Hey guys, it's Jolene from Smith's Nature Friendly Farms. We are hanging out in the garden today, and today I want to talk about plant labels. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today is labels, because there's actually a ton of different ways to label. You probably have your own ideas, which I welcome in the comments down below, but I'm going to show you a couple of really nifty ideas on how to get cheap ways to label your seeds, especially if you're doing a large number of them, as well as one that I think is awesome because it's really durable, super cheap. In fact, it's an upcycle, and it's honestly not very hard to find. If you might have to put a call out to friends and family, but you'd be surprised what you might find. So we're going to go through all about labels. Let's get started. We're going to start at the most expensive and work our way down. So the first one is actually a metal plant marker. These guys are often more common in nurseries. You can buy them in packs of, I think I got 25 of these online, I think through Amazon. What I've used to mark these ones is actually a paint pen because it's metal. What they actually recommend is putting stickers on them, but stickers to me is silly because they just get wet. So the paint pen seems to work really well. Why I have purchased these has been for more permanent things that I want marked. So when I have plant a new tree and I want to remember what kind of tree it is, I typically will I will paint one of these and put it underneath the tree. I have a pretty permanent herb garden, so this is why this one was started. I actually killed the Wagga parsley, so this one isn't in use anymore. These ones are significantly cheaper. These ones you can get at any Dollar General, probably even at Walmart. Usually the ones I think at Walmart are a bit thicker. This one is a very thin plastic. These are good. They certainly will get you through, when your seedlings are young and you want to keep them out of a lot of the sun. They do just fine. Once you start putting them out into the garden though, I find they fade pretty quick, so you can lose what information you had on it. Some people have a really good habit of going back and taking a pen and remarking their plants. I'm never that organized, so I end up losing the variety. So not one of my favorites to use, but I will use these in a pinch. Okay, this one is a nice and cheap version for about, I think these were maybe $1, maybe $1.25, and there are 40 pieces in them, so 40 sticks for $1, as opposed to a pack of these, which was probably $20 to $30, somewhere in that, so significant difference. Now, these ones are they're great to use in the garden. They hold the ink pretty good. Like eventually they start to fade too, but I would say they fade not quite as quickly as one of these guys would in the full sun. They also are sustainable, so they break down over time. So I like that aspect as well, but they're cheap and easy and usually available at your dollar store or any craft store. Probably more expensive at a Hobby Lobby per se, but they are definitely at Dollar General's. And you can get smaller versions of them. There's an example here. This is a small one. I don't like the small ones as much as the big ones because obviously you can fit less information on them. So my last one is my cheap one, and this is an upcycle. Certainly not the most sustainable, but in a sense you're recycling, so hopefully you're still kind of being a good human a bit there. But these are actually from blinds. So somebody has given me an old set of blinds, and in the past we cut them up. And since then I'm addicted to using blinds for my markers. Now blinds are amazing because they're made for the sun. So they don't break down like some of these thicker plastics. This one came from Ferry-Morse. These are a bit thicker, but what happens with these guys when they sit in the sun for a long time, they get really brittle and eventually they break. So do, oh hello Peaches, are we going to supervise? Thank you. Give him nose boops. This one also will break down over time, not quite as quickly as those other ones. This is what happens when you film with Peaches in the area. So getting a set of blinds, because what happens is people break them over time and they don't look as nice, so they want to replace them and they just think, well, I'll toss them out. It's incredibly easy to repurpose these, cut the strings out of them, and then just cut them into your plant markers. And they hold the ink really well and they last in the sun really well. I'm reusing some from last year and they just work perfectly. So to me, this is a fantastic upcycle. Put a call out on Facebook and you'll be surprised when you say, hey, anybody got an old set of blinds laying anywhere? Who comes out of the woods with, yeah, I got a junky pair sitting in the shed. Grab them and turn them into your free new plant labels. Literally, all we're doing, we just have to cut off the strings on them. Is so easy. A tad easier with sharper scissors. And then you've got yourself your blind. And then you can also cut your blind in any size you want. So a perfect way to make plant labels. Last year I used up all my blind labels, so this year I had to use some extra popsicle sticks, but I put a call out on Facebook and sure enough, somebody had some blinds sitting in the shed. So I got those today and I'm excited to make new labels. 2 more tips for you. When you are getting a pen to mark them, I highly recommend getting the Sharpie Extreme Fade Resistant. It's a bit more powerful than their regular version, lasts a little bit longer than the regular version. So the Extreme Fade Resistant Sharpie is the best one for marking plant labels. They really do fade very badly out in the sun and it gets very hard to keep track of the varieties you have planted. It drives me crazy. Lastly, how to label your labels. For those of you that are like brand new to gardening, I know some of you are not, you will know how to label a label. And I'm not always this perfect with them, but this is a great way. This is a way I wish I would do it every single time. But you list your tomato by the variety, Celebrity Tomato, Haas Tools, so you know what seed company you got it from. And this becomes incredibly important when you plant a lot of seeds. And let's say I actually have probably 5 different versions of Celebrity Tomato planted this year. And if some of them don't germinate, I know which company did not germinate. If all of them don't germinate, then we know that's probably me. But I have seen cases with, I had a situation with a particular type of watermelon. All my watermelons germinated except for this one strip of watermelons. It was all from the same company. So I kind of knew then that it was probably a seed problem and not a Jolene problem. This is also the date that I put on the back. It's incredibly helpful to know because if it's taking you 30 days to germinate a tomato seed, something's wrong. You might need to check your process. Maybe they're not warm enough, maybe the seed was bad, or you've maybe molded the seed, who knows. But you want to know the date so you can get a sense of when you planted them. It is so easy to forget. Some people also take pictures of these. I can't keep things organized and I use up pictures on my phone all the time, so that doesn't work for me, but I know lots of people that take pictures of their plant labels and that works really well because when they take the picture of the plant label, that dates the picture automatically in the phone, so they get the sense of when that was planted. All right, guys, that's it for labels. Lots of good ideas there from varying different price ranges. If that doesn't work for you and you have a better idea, put it down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. There's tons of different perspectives on what you can do in gardening. I think that's what I love about it. So, as usual, be friendly, be kind.